You doing all right over there?
Yeah, you have those moments when you're like I drive by In-N-Out and I'll like smell onions and I'm like, is it me? Like I'm so self-conscious. It's the fear coming into it. So self-conscious that it's always me. And I have a stain. I'm all pregnant. I got a stain.
Well, welcome to the world of schmutz. I don't put a piece of clothing on without food. I'll find food on me. And I'm like...
I'm a very clean person, but I'm just like, okay, maybe it's me.
I know what you mean by smells, though. Especially like in LA. You'll walk through a parking lot and you'll just smell weed. And I'll be like, oh.
Yeah. I like that. I like that smell.
Yeah,
me too.
Thanks.
I like the smell too.
I like the smell, but I'll find it in the randomest place. And I'm like, well... cool. I feel it.
Yeah, grandma sitting outside. I'm like, so LA. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
They don't got fear with that. I love it. Remember how much we used to fear weed and getting weed and all, and now it's like every corner.
Dude, it was the process. It's like how you got it, who you got it from, how good was it?
I used to call it Peter. Yeah. We used to call it Peter for pot. Yeah. We used to be like, oh,
really?
Have you seen our friend Peter? Yeah. When we're 14, 15.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll just be like,
we're going to hang out with Peter today.
Yeah.
Stupid.
No. I mean, but if once you got your score, it was just like, whoosh.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Never been a good pothead.
Oh, no.
Because then I just eat. And then I just get stains all over my clothes and then I smell. Anyway.
Just the beginning, boo. Just the beginning.
Oh, man.
So today, we're going to address fear.
There you go.
Yes.
There we go. We all got it. We all got it.
Yeah. And how we deal with it and how it affects all of us. Like how
do you deal with it?
Or do you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. How do you deal with fear? What are your fears?
I'm always fearful of rape. I'm always fearful. When I was little, this is so weird. When I was little, I was like, literally, I made this up at 7 years old. I'd pray to God and I'd say, please let there be no rapists, no murders, no killers, no molesters, no child molesters. And like, I'd have this whole thing that I would say starting. I think I've been here before. Yeah. I swear. My mom used to find me and she'd have to find me. I'd be passed out because I'd be fearful and thinking and just like in my head. And then I'd lose my oxygen, I guess, and I wouldn't breathe. And then I would pass out. And it was all of it stemming from some fears that I had since I was
where did that come from?
High anxiety. I don't know.
But
that's why I started therapy
specific.
at 9. That's why I started therapy at 9 because of moments like that. My parents were like, what the hell is going on with her? I also think my dad, like going back to competition, not that young, but like traveling a lot. My parents would be gone a lot. So I'd be scared that they would be like dying and just a lot of it. I didn't have a 9 to 5 at my house. We tried to have dinner at 6. We tried, but there were some days we didn't.
Yeah.
But a lot of unknown. I don't know. I think I've always been a very high anxious person.
Yeah.
A lot of fear. So how I deal with it now is just by confronting it, just dealing with it, I guess. Calling it out. And some people call me aggressive. I'm not aggressive. I'm just assertive. I'm just like, just trying to figure it out.
Sure.
Like naming the fear.
Yes.
Like, is it as bad as I think it's going to be?
Name the fear.
Yeah, like I was looking up a bunch of stuff as we usually do, but like just stating what your fear is gives you the strength to deal with it. Say your fear out loud, write it down, focus your mind on it. When you try to ignore your fear, it grows.
Yes.
And if it's in your face, it will shrink.
Yes. Like sometimes.
How about you? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just to address what you were saying, like in many cases, and I know this happens a lot, sometimes when you don't want to deal with something, like something simple like a parking ticket, right?
Totally.
And you just don't know how to deal with it or whatever, and whether you want to fight it or not. Sometimes you just need to get the information around it, and then it won't be as a to-do. It won't be such a big thing in your mind that you've created or a fear. You just have to get the information and be like, oh, I can just apply in this and this. Oh, I thought it was going to be way more than that. And then...
so true.
Yeah. And then then you take away the power from the fear, I don't know if that was a good example or
it's
not.
A great example.
But it's a matter of just finding out the info first so you could proactively deal with whatever that is.
Exactly.
In terms of fear, like I know something that I've always had to deal with and I still do. I mean, it's a natural thing. I have a fear of conflict.
Really?
Yeah.
I would not guess that about you.
I know. A lot of people say that.
Because I watched you on set. I've watched, you know what I mean?
Because I can bring it.
Yes.
But in internally
building
myself.
up to it.
Yeah, and I guess it depends on the person. You know, you could be afraid of conflict with specific people.
Now, sorry to interrupt you, but let me ask you a question. Are you fearful that it will turn into conflict so you don't start the conversation?
Yeah.
Or do you know it's going to be conflict? Or do you just like what like the quote,
kinds.
like that fear of your outcome that you imagine, like you create your own destiny with fear? So do you like work yourself up and then it could become a conflict?
Oh yeah. All of those things.
Okay, interesting.
And I try to figure out where that comes from. I know probably some of it is projected. So some of it's not even mine. It's like my mom or my dad's.
Right.
And you have to sometimes definitely look at your parents when you go to therapy. You start looking at those behaviors like that from your parents and where those came from. And definitely I could see where some of that has stemmed from that, and how they handle conflict situations, and if it is over the top, irrational, whatever.
Like, okay, break it down for a second. No, without getting too specific, but like, right. So if you have an issue that needs to be addressed, did it usually turn into a big conflict when you would address it at home growing up? Or what do you mean by that? Yeah.
At that time, specific to me, it wasn't about me. All these things about play dates and all that kind of stuff, I didn't have that. It was about the parents, what they had to do, their work, whatever they were doing. There was also a healthy issue of drugs in there to deal with. Okay. And so therefore, as a kid and impressionable, I was like, I don't know. I didn't know the words. I didn't know what to define it, but it was like, he's in that place, or he's, or if there was like a weird fight or something, I was that kid that was like, don't fight. But then eventually, after so much of it, you just kind of recede.
Because that's trauma.
You get quiet. Yeah.
Of not knowing. And the fear comes with it.
And if you're not being spoken to, or it's not being explained to you, or it's, all those things, or you watch the repercussions of what those conflicts create in your child mind, you're trying to make sense of stuff. I always say, and I think adults a lot of times do not realize how smart kids are and how they can really understand things. You just have to talk to them.
So true.
They're little people that are, and you have to, find ways for them to understand.
They always know too.
But they'll get it, and I knew I could get it. That's why, my parents were divorced. And divorce for me, when people say it's unfortunate, but it's a positive thing generally, because it's two people who are not meant to be together, who are unhappy, right? And so they're on their journey to beginning to get to the happiness or whatever that is. And yes, it's more difficult when children are involved. But 10 to 1, in many cases, it's better for the child.
It's better to come from a broken home than live in one. That's what they say.
That's a good way of phrasing
it's true,
that.
Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just took me a couple of months to, but you have to just talk to the kids, explain it or whatever. In my case, my stepdad was the one who spoke to me and made it make sense and stuff like that. And because in the beginning, when I first met him, I was like, who?
I can't even imagine.
No.
Parents still married. I've never had that.
Yeah. But then, we fell in love with each other, and it was just wonderful.
You saw how happy your mom was compared to her and your dad.
And then it starts to make sense. And even as a little kid, you go, oh, okay, I'm not feeling as stressed, or I'm not feeling so unsure. I'm feeling just better. I can think about other things.
I can be a kid.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
it's a beautiful thing.
Fear of conflict can stem from a lot of those different things. And then you just project, you can create your own. Our minds are amazing things. Imagination
can manifest.
Yeah.
Shit.
So you can create a story without even just, dealing with it first. And then you think, oh my God, it's going to blow up in my face. I'm with this and hard. I don't want to deal with that. Blah, 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 blah. So you're trying to be in denial and tiptoe around certain things if you had just dealt with something ahead of time. So that's always been a struggle for me.
How did you, so people out there that can relate, because I'm more of because I had dinners as much as possible, almost every night.
We had dinner at 6:00 every night.
But you were the only child, though.
Yeah.
So I had two siblings. I think I can count on two hands the amount of dinners we had growing up in my whole life of childhood that there was not a conflict and someone did not run from the table, express, come back. It was always like a Shakespearean play. Like it was just
that's your household. Yeah.
Cast of characters there.
Right.
But so we learned the conflict and had the resolution at the table. Ooh. However, with you, how was it that you built confidence then to make it so that if you did have that fear of conflict, that you work on it? Like, what are the steps that you've taken or that you do now if you didn't learn that as a kid?
Yeah, I didn't learn it then.
A lot of people don't.
No.
So, yeah.
Therapy, just growing up, maturing, trying different things. A lot of it too was realizing that I'm sorry, I'm like looking up here trying to figure it out.
No,
but I realized, that's not my issue. Kind of going back to something we talked about before, which was broken records. I go, that's not mine. And it was also my husband who helped me a lot working through in relationships and stuff. You help each other through those things, and he helped me quite a lot. Yeah. And realizing like, do you notice you do that? That's not yours. That's something maybe I see your mom do, but that's not you. And I'm like, that's true. And so it was recognizing that, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort on my part, a lot of self-reflection and work. And then you just go, okay, it's not me. And then when you start to differentiate it, you have to figure out what is you. And so then you try different things, and you can be shy about it and slow about it. But, you just try, and as you practice and rehearse and do better and you find successes, you get better.
Yeah. I think boundaries, like we talked about last season, and I have a program called the Boundary Boot Camp. Yeah. And I think it's important to have boundaries, like, so you can work towards that, especially with working. If you don't deal with conflict well, and you don't know because it's a lot of fear to walk into a room and ask for a raise, or you have a lot of fear.
Oh yeah. Authority. Like if you have fear of authority.
Yeah. Or just people that are not kind, and how it's going to spin out of control and how you can deal with it. But boundaries is a great way to just say no is a full sentence, where you can start there, or, knowing that you can get out of that situation if it just gets way too heated, but you're very clear about certain things. So building boundaries is a great tool, I think, to start with, instead of ducking and weaving from fear.
Yeah. I mean, you just kind of have to acknowledge what the fear is.
Right. Because it says fear exists to keep us safe. It isn't designed to keep us inactive, but to help us act in ways that generate the results we need and want.
Yeah.
Embracing fear as instruction, and let it inform your actions, not control them. So let fear inform your actions. Don't let it control them.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
And I guess the theme of a lot of things that I've been recognizing is just your self-action to handle the things that you're discovering about yourself or what you need to do. Don't wait for life to happen to you. You have to be like, oh my God, I don't know. I didn't realize I do this. What can I do to help myself?
Right.
What do I need to read? What do I need to look up? What do I need to talk about? Who do I need to ask for help in this?
Yeah.
You do the work to, as much as you can, to address certain things.
Yeah.
And fear really is something that has to do with that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, fear of authority is a big thing. Going in to ask for a raise.
But sometimes
that's a confidence thing. That's an insecurity thing. That's a self-worth thing.
Self-worth, working on that.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm so used to conflict, right? Because of my family and going in hot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes I have created, I don't know anybody else out there, sometimes I take away the vulnerability because that is my fear of like being vulnerable and being shut down. That's my defensive.
You have to look at your defensive.
But then I create chaos too, because I'll walk in and I'll be like, in the past, I've worked on this a lot, but I'll walk in and be like, okay, this is the deal, bubble. And then the other person, because I'm scared of that fear, I'll fight it with that person. And the person's like, whoa. This could be a simple conversation. It doesn't have to be as elevated as how you came in.
No, true. It's a tactic where you were like, you know what? I'm just going to come in first and handle this so that we can I'll take it away from her and let me just deal with it head on.
Yeah. Right. But then that's not healthy either, because I'm like, go with the fear. And they're like, wait. Like you're starting something. Yeah. And then my fear became a reality because I manifested it because I didn't walk in with an open heart, and I thought it was going to be a conflict. So I manifested a conflict. But it could have just been a nice conversation.
Yeah. And I mean, I tried different things. Yeah. Like, I try to be pleasantly surprised.
That's good.
Because there's always a thing of like, what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yep.
And then you name it and you can call it out and be like, all right, if that happens, that'll suck. And you'll, adjust to however you handle that. But won't it just be pleasant? Hope to be pleasantly surprised. So then your energy could come in and just kind of probably help the scenario. Another thing too, that
the proportion you were talking about.
Yeah. Like because you don't name it or address it ahead of time or whatever, and you're trying to be in denial or you just don't want to deal, which I understand.
Avoidance.
I get it. Yeah.
Woo-hoo, yeah.
It creates a bigger, the problem itself becomes a bigger
cancer.
Yeah, it's not proportionate to what the actual scenario is. And so, you can help yourself by just dealing. And quite honestly, I have found that you got to always divorce the movie picture of what life and happy and joy and easiness is to what the reality. Life is not always happy, sunny, 72 degrees and sunny. You got to go through ebb and flow and up and down. And sometimes certain conversations are difficult, but, to be a more successful adult, really, you have to learn how to deal with conflict or, disappointments or things that are negative, because it's just part of life. It's like the yin and the yang. You have to learn how to do the both. And the more successful you are at doing the both, and it takes a lifetime. It takes a lot more experience, and it'll change as you get older and you get more experience. But you got to do it. It's just part of what we're here doing.
Yeah. And I think fear with the failure, like we've talked about before, there's so much sense of I'm going to fail.
Fear of failure. Yeah.
That's a big one that you don't even start. So you have to ask yourself, what's the worst thing that can happen? Like you said, sometimes the reality is bad, but you might often find that the fear itself is worse than whatever it is afraid of might happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the thing I looked at too is visualizing success. Like how many, I look at athletes a lot and I look at them and I go, how many times, you look at a Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
And he's just in a Tiger Woods,
Impressive.
who cares about Tiger Woods' personal life, whatever. I liked it when shit went crazy with him because I was like, oh, he's a real human. He likes to have sex. Got it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But how many times do you think Tiger Woods has visualized that swing in his head and has done that swing, visualize the PGA and all the tournaments that he's won? He didn't just go, okay, let's knock some balls. He really manifested, because how fearful must it be to be on that stage, and he's not
the amount of pressure.
Oh my God.
Such a young
and
age.
His father alone.
Oh,
That's a great documentary I watched. I don't know if you've seen it, but
too. I have so much empathy for him now.
Yeah.
Way more understanding.
I really like him, but just visualizing and making it his dream when it really was his father's, and then just coming together and, losing your shit and then having people talk shit about you along the way, and then still coming back when they said you'll never have a comeback. But, all of that could have been and racism. That could have all been crippling for him with the fear, but he just visualized it. And I think, nothing stood in his way when everyone's like, he's a has-been. He's like,
and the one thing,
watch me, bitch.
Well, the one thing from the documentary that happened was, the best answer to all the crap that was kind of dealt to him was success. So sometimes you just got to focus on what you're doing and what you're trying to do or your goal. And your success will answer the fears, will answer the projected fears from other people, and conflict from other people in scenarios. So, there's that too. And what do you need to focus on? What you need to do to succeed and be successful.
Yeah. And I'm looking at a lot of these kids and they want to be celebrities. And I'm like, when you actually are the height of a celebrity, because Michael Jackson, my dad would train Michael Jackson growing up, and the poor man would come in our small little house and he loved it when it was just us. But the fear he had when someone would come to the door that, because he felt it's safe in a normal home, but someone would come to the door to pick up, my brother's friend that was there playing, and he would just freeze. He wouldn't know what to do, and he was just so fearful. It looked like a fish out of water. However, so many people want that type of celebrity, but Can you imagine? Celebrity is unmeasurable, being a celebrity. Fame is unmeasurable. Look at Britney Spears, like how much Michael would have to stay in his house and not do anything and live like a normal life. And that alone. But then you go on stage, he probably, like Beyonce, names her fear. She gets on stage, she's shy, and then you name it, you look at it, maybe give yourself an alter ego of sorts, and then just get out there and do it and put it into...
Focus all that energy into your talent.
Into your talent and find a talent, that you really love. So visualizing success and not being scared of it, because I see so many people self-sabotaging even before they began.
Yeah. And this is what we're talking about. There's so many behaviors that do self-sabotage. I must say, with visualization, the one thing that helped me, because I remember being pregnant and I'm looking at this massive,
I'm fearful every
belly.
day with this. Yeah.
I have a belly envy. Because I love being pregnant. It was
you were
so
great pregnant. Yeah, you were really cute.
And one of the big fear, and I'm sure a lot of other pregnant women had the same thing, is the actual, not being pregnant, but the actual birthing.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm so fearful. I'm not fearful, but I'm
having the baby. And literally, I did everything we did. We started doing Malcolm and I started doing this hypnobirthing class. To help, honestly, just address the fear of the actual birthing. Because, if think about it, you're putting the size of a bowling ball down, my vagina was just like
a little lemon.
Yeah. I was like,
little lime.
And part of hypnotherapy and the practice of it is one, you got to divorce the idea of what film and TV,
that's what you were saying,
what that image is of birthing. Of course they want part of successful TV and drama is drama, the conflict. You need conflict for successful. The screaming and the red face. Yeah. No, you got to visualize, everything getting bigger and opening, and and trust me, for weeks beforehand, you listen to the music and they tell you to sit there and just listen and meditate and visualize it so that you have something to go to when the stuff is actually happening. And not for nothing, it helped so much when the time came in so many ways. And visualization is a huge, powerful tool. It really, really is in many ways. So, use your imagination.
Being one with your body and just,
But use your imagination. Go there. It's okay. And help yourself to... another thing that's always helped me in life, because I've always... oh, God, what's her name? All of a sudden, my brain... Shakespeare in Love, the one who played the Queen.
Gwyneth Paltrow?
No.
Oh.
The Queen.
It's been too long.
No.
Judi Dench.
Yeah. So Judi Dench. She's who she is. You know what she looks like.
Yeah.
She's a small, petite woman with,
fierce.
Yes, but very fierce. She goes, in an interview, she's like, no, I've always pictured myself as a 5'9" willowy blonde that goes and does her little thing. And then after that interview, whenever I look at her now, I go, ooh, I see it.
Okay.
I see her imaging, and so I've always tried to do that, and it's worked
interesting.
For me. Yeah,
it's like animal work that we used to do in class. Yeah, if you have to go in, you can just imagine yourself as like a big cheetah. You just be like,
that was my animal.
Was it? Was it?
Yeah,
they're sleek, man. Yeah, but just naming the fear. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, so now I'm gonna look at Judi Dench as a willowy blonde 5'9".
It works.
Cool. But I guess what else do you think?
It is what it is, and it's really specific to each person.
Yeah.
But you got to try different things, and I think we've talked about certain different tools: visualization, naming it,
educating yourself, make it into proportional things, so it's not out of your realm completely.
But it's a lifetime journey. It's a growing, living relationship with yourself. So just everyone has it, but work with it, and
build your boundaries around it too,
and you will overcome. You know? Don't let it take you over. I say do the things so that you could be the you know.
You're in control of it.
Yeah.
Control what you can. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that Spectrum bill or that parking ticket, just confront it because it's not going to go away. And then the price is just going to get more and more and more. And then you're going to get angry and then you're fearful of it. And then it turns into anger and forget it. It's just,
And do what everybody does. Call Spectrum and be like, hey, I was down a few days. I want a discount.
Yeah. And be nice. I always try to be extra nice in the beginning because I'm like, okay, like, because I can't imagine being on the other line and customer service, what people are coming at me with. Like, that's a fearful job. I would be like, okay, ma'am. Okay, sir. You know, so yeah. And do things that you love to keep you out of that realm of fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that helps. Tell us how you deal with fear. We would love to hear it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not anything new, but tips are always helpful no matter what journey you're on in life and what stage. So, yeah. This is Raw Talk.
Not food.
Mm-mm.